Hello there, I'm Kate in the Nest, and I hope you are ready for a little bit of fun because it's Saturday afternoon here. I've had a great morning, and I promised that I was going to be making lots of bowerbird things, and I sure am. So today I'm going to start a new nest. This is bowerbird nest number 1, filled with treasures and goodies. I should put that little keepsake in there. So that's my inspiration. But I did watch a video by the lovely Pam from Pandora's Junk Journals, and she was also making a bowl, and I thought, okay, I want to make one straight away. So I popped on here. Wasn't planning to make this video right now, but hey, it's the weekend. So the idea of this challenge is to make our nests, and it's not so much about the construction but about the embellishing and adorning. So I've got lots of things around me that were inspiring me to be sunny yellow. And then I remembered when Pam said that she uses bits of quilt, I suddenly thought, I haven't used quilt before. I always use blanket. So what did that inspire me to do? I'm going to use both. This is a spare bit of lovely blanket. This is, I bought this online because, as I have said before, it's very, very rare for us to come across quilt toppers. That's why my friends in the States in particular, I think that's where you may not have blankets, but you do have beautiful quilts. Anyway, so bottom line, I'm going to use this quilt top and this blanket to make a new nest. As I said for all along, this is not about construction. There are many, many different ways of getting your bowl, your vessel, your nest, whatever you choose to call it. And in Kate's way, it's the fastest and most fun that always wins out. So right now I need to get my big scissors. So I hope you are all well. Have you got your projects planned out for the weekend? As I said, I've got lots of projects on, but and this wasn't one of them, but that's what we love about making, isn't it? And my last film was all in the neutrals, and I've got another big natural project that I was going to work on, and then I saw Pam and I thought, why not go to the coloured side, which is what you usually see me do. So notice I could have traced around there, but I didn't. I don't know whether this will be the inside or the outside. Usually I'd have this as the base. So for this one, I'm doing the base, and I didn't even tell you that. I'm doing the base and sides in one because I'm in a hurry. So when Kate's in a hurry, there's no stopping. So what we're going to do now is put a plate in the middle. Hope you like, I have my toast and peanut butter sometimes on that plate. When I feel like spoiling myself. Which side does it look prettier on? Let's go over here. So basically, I'm just going to sort of find a middle part. Trace around. I found my Frickson, is that how you say it? One of these. Yep, I can see that. And I haven't stitched these together, I do have a few of these little clips. Actually, let's correct it and say 1. It's boring if you have to watch me do that. So let's just get on with it, because everything is wonky my way. All right, so we've got a double circle. This one's got wadding in it, and this one is pure blanket. And now we're going to make it turn up into a nest with this chair. I think this is going to be the inside, but of course it will be very decorated, but isn't that gorgeous to have there? Okay, so let's go wonky, and maybe, no, because I'll put some pins this way, and I'll put them, in fact, let's do it this way, okay? See if I can be an example rather than a rule breaker. Well, not that there's any rules, but you know what I mean. Take that out. I'm laying these along. So that's going to be my squishy bottom. Don't want to cut through any pins. Okay. So we have half a circle, and we're going to go in and cut to the line. And in and cut to the line that's sort of in there somewhere, sort of disappeared. Yep. Then we're going to go this way and do the same thing. I think these are my paper scissors instead of my fabric scissors. So, is that enough yet? Now we might do another set. So where haven't I gone in halves? And look, it's not accurate. It's swap scissors. These are so sharp they could cut me in half. That's much better though. There we are. A bit of sunshine's coming out. And there'll be one more little bit. Actually, maybe 2 more. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just do this. Okay. I'm bored enough to say that's enough. So we are going to put this together now and embellish at the same time. And back for this, I might, what was I doing? I've got 2 tiny ones. Doesn't matter. No, I will go this way because the quilting can help. Let's start here with something pretty for your eyes. I was so excited that I didn't even thread any needles up. So I'm just going to go in the middle here. As I say, this may not even work. So if you're a new nest maker, I would say probably go and look at someone else's on how to, and then come back and join me at the embellishing side. I managed to do something silly there, which is not the start I wanted. There we are. I'm going to use I think I've had this piece out a few times to use and never actually found the right place. So I'm very excited using these little squares to help me get to the top. And does it worry me that that white is showing at the moment? No, because it will get covered. Now you could do beautiful tiny stitches, anything you want. But as I say, all of these joins are going to be covered. By additional pieces. Okay, so actually let's finish that bit off. So go inside the join, pull, snip. Let's get this one going. Do you know, I don't think it's in far enough. I want bigger sides than that. I should have just done it by ear and eye. Yeah, that's going to be better. Follow your heart. Oh, forgot the knot. So welcome if you are new here. I keep having lovely messages, and also from wonderful subbies who've been here right from the beginning and all along the journey. So, you know, that's why I'm doing it, for the company and the flat. Oh, I realised I've got a bad needle as well. So what I'll do is I'll probably turn the camera off and get this together, and then come back and we'll do some adorning. Okay, so see you soon. Hello there, it's Kate in the Nest, and I'm back. And a lot more time has gone past since I filmed the first part of my nest, so I just wanted to pretend almost that this is the beginning again. So I said in this bowerbird nest that it was on the embellishment and the decoration. So I have been digging for embellishing things, and I found some treasures on the way, and I just, in case I ever forget, I found this little needle book. in the thrift store. I've got to soak it, but how incredible is it? And I forgot to show you that. And on the same place, it must have been some just from one person's home. Look at that. It's a heart. So I think you know where, well, we'll see where that ends up. So I've been gathering trinkets and things that I said I'd use. I found even crazy things like this is a little girl gave this to me ages ago. It's so cute. And it could go on a bowerbird. So you saw the construction part of this bowerbird nest in the first part of this video. So since then, I'll quickly bring you up to speed. Here is the piece of quilting, and here is the blanket that I started out on. So if you want a quick tour of what I did next, I started layering pieces over the blanket, and I particularly used the pieces of quilt off my quilted coat, my wearable, because I thought, well, this is almost like a quilt theme and vintage textures, so why don't I do that? So you can see it's wonky. I think that's okay. You can, you do you, but for me, I don't mind that's a bit puffy, because in nature, I don't think things are perfect. So my approach was this: the inside was covered and I needed to piecemeal bits together. So I've kept, hang on, I better just check. Yep. I've kept the idea of, oh my gosh, did a funny swallow. By the way, how are you in part 2? Yesterday was Saturday and now it's Sunday afternoon and it's drab. So I'm overly excited as usual to be chatting with you and sharing what I've done, because I couldn't stop. Lots of little patches, started to embellish a little bit there, frills, and oh my goodness, my dear friend Bron gifted me this little box of treasures earlier in the year, and I had forgotten about it. And she used to make tutus. So look at these little bits and pieces that she thought I might have some use for, and of course I will. But these, I was stitching along on the top of here, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun if my big fat needle could go through these beads? And they did. So look at that. I think that's pure treasure bowerbird. Here's my fringe. So we called it over the top, and I am just not caring where things go, but if something goes under my fingers and I feel it's right. So this bit here is absolutely ripe for embellishing. So I'll just take you on I found this piece of patchwork that I hadn't used yet because of the colouring, but on a piece like this, I just love that juxtaposition, and I've started to do some tiny stitching there and mark making, and that's probably just a little favourite vignette already. This is new quilting cotton. This is vintage, and I just let it hang down. So who knows where this will end up. But as you can see, loose stitches, some still up because I'll put pieces underneath another plain one piece, because we've got lots of embellishing to go. And similarly inside, I want to feature the original. Oh my gosh, how do I make that fringe not stand up like that? It's like a little tree. Of course, accidental. But also to not make them as pristine. So they're part of that honoured story of the hands that made it. And then as a visitor to my nest and imagining the bird, and that's that was what I showed at the beginning, because I made that bird last year, and he's still looking for a nest. But that makes me smile. Okay, what else was I going to keep close to me? That, and I'm not going to use those little crochet pieces at the beginning that I showed you. Oh, this one I think has to find a home. I've got this little pink crochet. I did think I'd use some numbers, and who knows what. So this is sort of just a continuation, and why I jumped to that is, where is it? This little bit here that was off from the Beck's Needle Book workshop, and that was from her as well. But at the time I put them in my needle book, put them together, but it wasn't the right home for them. So now that's going to live on there, and that's going to be a little treasure pocket. So actually, why don't we start with that? Because I haven't done much stitching for you. Actually on screen. So I'm having fun. I'm just really dipping into any wools that I have around, any fabrics, because I think it lends itself to the look. Okay, so this is all still open down here. So, you know, nothing fancy in this stitching. I'm going to leave that out deliberately because that's a dangle of colour. I'd love to know if you are making a nest. I know there's lots of projects on, so I totally understand if you're just here for amusement. I know Ellen's going over the top, so hi Ellen. She's got a family quilt and a nest, I think, on her list at the moment. It is, see, I've got a spare needle even. There are lots of layers now, so this is chunky again, but look at that, like the shapes are different, but they'll be able to sit inside each other. That's eye candy, is what I call that. And it just, they're so useful. There we go. I almost would like that to be a little bit more tattered, so I'll just pull that up a bit and tear it. Yep, so we have the bit under, and then we see a bit more of my pink stitching there too. You can be as random as you like in this style, or as neat as you like, because I know I've seen at the Green Door, some of the ladies have made the most beautiful Liberty scrap, you know, just pieces which I don't have, but I do think there's a lot of pleasure to be had you're making something that you can use after you've made it. All right, sorry, I've got a squeaky chair. So there we are. We've got a little pocket. What could I put in there for the moment? Oh, I don't know why everything's creaking. Maybe I could nearly, in fact I could, fit my swan pin cushion. She needs to go the right way, which would, anyway. Stop that. Okay, what else have I got? I've got this cord that's obviously been taken off something, but I was thinking a bowerbird would pick up something like that, or a magpie, and put it in their nest. So I love this end. This is all very pretty over here. Do we want to layer up? See, I liked it up here. I still don't know what I'm going to do. So, by the way, you can make these as high or as low as you want. I feel like I want to again just go a bit random over there. Yeah, across several pieces. What colour? I'm deliberately looking for something that will stand out, so it looks like it's been, it's not meant to have been there. All too complimentary. Black. What am I looking for? This is what I'm looking for. Take back everything I said about being contrasting, because I'd forgotten about my golden thread. So it will be a very happy birdie who finds the gold cord with the gold thread. So I did all those funny little, okay, so rules of collage, don't have your rows starting at the same time. Oh, I forgot to tie a knot. Let's look at proportion. You know, I think I'll only go to there. Doesn't need the whole length. That was in bronze little container too. Beautiful heart. There was a pretty pink one as well, but I chose to be a little bit more not matchy even with that. Yeah, just something to put your fingers on there and feel good about it. Okay, I've got gold here, and I found these from a spotlight sale, and I didn't know what I'd ever do with them, but I think they are very much in keeping with a this is what I love. It's like dress-ups. Okay, let's go over here and we'll go to the side there. So there's a ring. I didn't tie a knot, but Kelly has shown how to, if you use gold thread, you can sort of untangle it and it makes a little bit of a tassel. So I might even just leave that like that. What will I do this time for everything? Oh, that was a bit tough to get through. Okay. It's not going to have to stand up to much wear, but look at that. Keep that out. And could I tie a knot? See, this is where my fingers, I feel, are too big, but that's going to come unraveling. Be better if it was double. And just keep that up like that. Just gathering myself there. All right. Isn't that wild? And it does have, in fact, I'll do that. I'll leave it dangly on the outside, but in here, there's that hole there. So I will just go in. And out. Oh. Leave longer. Especially with quilts, I'm just fascinated by the colours and the patterns, and I just was thinking then about who made this and which bed was it for and where are all the other pieces and how did it get to Australia. Yeah. Come out this other side to anchor. Yep, and we've got some stitches, so we'll just add. Now that's the hand stitching of someone who made that quilt. This is the hand stitching of someone who made that patchwork. So full of story. I can anchor down there. So as I said, I added some extra little pieces of blanket to make the sides thicker and puffier. And you'll know what you like if you've made these sorts of things before. Okay. There's my beaded. I actually have buried the, of course I have. I've buried those stringy beads that I wanted to put on here. Because I'd really like to do that. I do have that. Nope. Okay, I've started to do some embellishing there. I want to make a binding over that pocket. But actually, I'll just make it really thick stitching in wool. No, it hasn't come to me, but out of the corner of my eye, just saw that little thing. I was attracted to that little bit. Actually, this is not very nice in here. It's yeah, it's not old. So let's do some harvesting and gain all of this beautiful crochet and seeds. How does one harvest the insides of a big jug cover? So now I pick these up wherever I see them because they're just fascinating to me. And look at all of that that's now available. And I sort of like it's got a price tag on it because that's... Would I cover anything up? Or is it better to be in the bottom of the nest? Except I won't see it very much. Where was that other plain bit? Over here. How about there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. I have been doing some crocheting today. Long overdue. Haven't filmed it. You'll have to let me know if you want to see some of my crocheting again. And this is where we'll use red. So just remember, if you haven't seen this project or the concept of the nest that I'm being inspired by, I have it on the announcement video of August. Or I'm sure if you just Googled nests with dangles or something, you would come up with. some so we'll pick up the top of the pocket as we go along for extra reinforcement. And we might put that over the top like that. Oh no, it'll run into my jewels. It's doubled up now, which I'm quite happy about because it makes it easier to stitch, make an impact. I sort of like going over and over. Almost like in a cross stitch now. Oh my goodness! On top of everything, then my phone storage got full, so I think that's a sign that I probably should move on, because this will go on and on and on, and you've got the idea. So just remember, this is for fun, and it's about just being free with me, to find that inner child who may have collected things, and literally I'm looking around my nest, and this is bringing me joy because I'm using up things that, you know, have been given to me. Where's that little brooch? Now I've buried it. So never do I waste the thread. So let's just go up here, and yeah, we'll make some crosses out of these ones. Pulled that one too tight, but there we go, 3 little crosses. So we'll tuck something in there, and for me right now, it's going to be this little thing. Until we find a home for it, I want to do binding on that. I've also, oh yes, I found that off my snippet roll that might add a bit of colour on here, because that's blanket still showing there. And if I put it like that, it will provide strength to this side. I won't tell you what stress I'm going through there. Just suffice, that's a needle, not a pin. Okay, my friends, I hope you have had reason to smile as a result of my sharing today. I've loved talking to you as I've stitched along. So have a happy whatever you are up to, and I'll see you again soon. This is Kate in the Nest. Bye.